people? I go by the name T-Rhyme, aka the stylish rapper, aka Quarshie, aka Fire, aka what I say, BBB. You're watching Davcadotv. Keep it locked. Don't go nowhere. Alright.
Good afternoon, sir. You are live here in Davcadotv, and I'm happy to have you here. So, what's the name?
Well, I'm Daniel Quarshie, Martey.
Okay. Sir, I just have a few questions for you based on the questions a lot of parents have been asking me, the comments, the calls and the rest. So that's why I came all the way. So I want to know, with the situation of school placements today in Ghana, have you been able to secure admission for your child or your ward?
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. First of all, and then let me thank God first, and then also you as well for the wonderful job you've been executing, by way of granting, interview to know comments, complaints, cut across Ghana, particularly has to do with school placements. For me, as it is now, my first child is yet to complete his GHS.
Okay.
But I have nephews that completed and they are yet to, that is, go for their second cycle education. And looking at, the school placement, I know it has become an issue. This thing has become an issue. And, we read in papers. We also listen to news. And then also comments that is coming from Ghana Education Service and then also Ministry for Education. And for me, what I can say is that we don't have to sit for politicians to tell us what they can do or what we'll be able to do if we voted them into power. But we should be able to read, their past stories, their backgrounds, what they did in the past, as to whether they be able to deliver on promises that they give to the people of Ghana, especially the ordinary Ghanaian on the street shoulder. So that at the end of the day, we don't project into such situations, because as it is now, as to whether we like it or yes, that is where we are. So it is a lesson for us. It is a lesson, and that is going to determine what should happen in 2024, come general election.
Okay. From what you said your child is not up to the GHS, meaning he or she has
to excess.
Okay, he's not up to excess. Okay, so you have brothers, maybe sisters that are struggling for this admission with their child also. So what advice do you have, like with the situation? What are you thinking the government is trying to implement? What are you thinking that is going to happen from 1 or 2 years from now? Because the educational sector, I heard that a lot of children, there is a lot of children, they actually pass their exam and have good grades, but their name did not come out. They went to check their name, but yet they can't find their name. And now it's not school of their choice again. It's now school of the government choice. Meaning the government will decide the school you will go to. What do you have to say about that, sir?
Yeah, I think that before, what I can say particularly is that before 2016 general election, the current government presented policies through the media to Ghanaians, and education is never left out of that presentation. As to when it comes into power, then when the NPP comes into power, how they are going to run our education. And also with a promise that there will be free schooling. School going is going to be free. The government is going to subsidize for our wards to go to school for free. But I think that before they preach, their message to us, and then, we give them our mandate. They may, one way or the other, have a policy, a good policy. But that is part of the corruption that we talk about. That when you are being given a position of authority, it is your responsibility, it is your mandate to think about the people, to think about the ordinary Ghanaian. Because there is a promise that, okay, we go to school for free under this current, administration. But that is where we are. So I may advise that when you are in a position of authority, it is your responsibility to discharge your duties according to the plans of or the policies of the prevailing government. So I may say it is part of the corruption, that we talk about. I mean, that is a bit I can say.
All right.
It is also a situation that we have found ourselves in. I read a story where even if your child name appears in the list as to the school that he has chosen, yes, you need to pay some kind of money before your ward or child could be admitted into that school of his or her choice. And to the issue of maybe choosing school and name not appearing also in the list, it is part of the corruption that we talk about. And maybe we all don't deny the fact that Ghana is living in a broken economy now. And maybe as part of government to actually find a way of escaping, cost of enrolling all the students in the school, certain names ought not to be appear, or maybe there must be a cutoff. And that is what I can, advise or add a bit. But all that I'm saying is that this is going to determine what should happen come 2024 general election.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for having you once again. I really do appreciate. So what message do you have to, what message do you have to send to the government now with this situation? Because a lot of children are at home, unable to go to school, and yet they said education is the key. How is it the key now like this? What message do you have to send to the government? Because a lot of politicians, Ministry of Education, all of them, they will be seeing this. So what message do you have to send to them?
It is a simple message. Government should cut down expenditure. I mean, there is no point in presidents flying in private jets. There is no point in government, requesting for a private jet, into which you have, bathroom and what have you. So for me, what I can say is that government ought to cut down, expenditure and then think about the ordinary Ghanaians. Because that is not a situation Ghana was in before they came into power. Or we have encountered this current administration. I think that one of the reasons, according to the prevailing government, one of the reasons is that, or they give certain one or two reasons, and one is about COVID-19. Two is about Russia-Ukraine war, and etc. But I think that in spite of Russia-Ukraine war or COVID-19, there are a lot of funds that were allocated from foreign countries in aiding Ghana to battle the COVID-19, probably to the Ukraine and Russian war. I mean, there is no point. In that, there is no point in these two reasons that the government has actually given. It is precise that the government cut down expenditure. And that could be part of the solution to this education problem that we are encountering.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate your time and having